So we've read over our evidence, we've examined the stuff, we have come up with probably a pretty clear idea of what we believe. Mine's pretty easy because we're talking about global warming and everybody with an education says it's real and it's our fault. So that's easy for me to argue. So now the next step is to create your slideshow. So this one says what you need to have. A cover slide containing a picture, your name, and a title. 1 to 2 slides explaining the overall issue and debate. What are people arguing about? So that's where we talk about just make sure everybody knows what we're talking about and why we care. And then what does each side believe? And then 3 to 5 slides of your own explaining what we should believe. Use a combination of facts and statistics. That's your logos. If you're just all like, it's terrible, we're all going to die, then nobody believes you because you sound like a hysterical kind of person, which is exactly what they're going to, they'll say, oh, no, it's not a big deal. But if it's all cold logos, then it's maybe not as interesting. So you got to find a balance between emotional responses and your facts. And make sure that whenever you give information, it comes from a reputable source. So one thing that let's get that open. So I got my sources there. Earth will survive, global warming and climate change. Politicians use climate change as an excuse. And then you need 1 to 2 slides for your works cited page. So I'm going to keep this open in one tab, and I'm going to have my others, just my slideshow itself right here. So I can pick whatever theme I want for my slideshow. Google's basic themes are pretty lame. You can import a theme if you want, which is prettier, but it's more work. So I'm not going to go into that. I want to keep things simple. Let's do that one. And I'm kind of making this up as I go because I've done my reading and I sort of want to show you the basic approach that I go through. So we may skip some parts. We might make a fast forward every once in a while. We'll see how long the video is going to be. I'd like to keep this one a little shorter than the last one. We'll call this climate change. It's just kind of the end of the world. Let's just cut it down to kind of the end of the world. That's fun. Okay, so this is Google Slideshow. A lot of you guys probably know how to use this, but just to be sure, when you want to make a new slide, if you want to make a copy of the slide that you've already got, you hit plus, or like the same layout. But if you want to pick a layout, you can hit the little drop down arrow over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay out the basic slides that I know that I need, right? So, and I like using pictures. So I'm going to use one column text and then a big chunk over here for pictures. So overview, and I'll get some pictures in there. Overview continued. And maybe I'll go back and I'll change those little things. So what do we need next? So 1 to 2 slides explaining the overall issue and debate. And I may cut that second slide if I find that I don't need anything in there. 3 to 5 slides explaining what you should believe. Okay. Let's just keep going with this basic approach. The problem. I like to do a problem solution. Problem, and we're going to put in parentheses facts. Actually, let's do parentheses pathos. So we'll start off with some emotional kind of stuff, and then we're gonna add in some logos. That's our logical fact-based stuff. My watch is buzzing at me. Okay, and then let's add in solution, logos. So now we're going to lay out some stuff that we can maybe do, some good ideas to fix this problem. Probably I'm going to base that on some of the Paris Accord and stuff like that. Like cap and trade, some basic stuff to kind of reduce our issues. And then I'm going to do solution pathos, because now that I've laid out a bunch of facts, I want them to feel good about the thing that we're going to do and how we're going to make the world better. So we've got 3 to 5 slides, we've hit that, and then 1 to 2 slides for the works cited page. And I can build the works cited page right now. So let's, and this one actually we're going to change, we're going to go to this layout button, and since it's a works cited, I'm going to go to, wait a minute, just kidding. Is there a better one than that? Yeah, we're going to go to click to add title. We're going to call this works cited page, works cited, and that should be centered. Let's see. Do I have a center button here? Yeah, it's right here. There we go. And then I'm going to go through my articles that I have. Earth will survive. Go down to the bottom, and I'm going to lift that, paste it in. And I'm not worrying about alphabetization right now. I'll do that once I've got everything in there. So we did the first one. I'm just going in order down my list. I'm going to drag all the way down through here. And I'm just hitting Command C on my Mac. It would be Control C on your Chromebook. Or you could, in the next one, I'll show you, just in case you don't do this kind of copying and pasting very often. If I highlight it, then I go to Edit, Copy, and I can click here, Edit, Paste. I'm recording a video right now. So that's how that works. Now, it's Thomas, Global, Frank, EFG. I actually lucked out. I did everything in alphabetical order. So we're okay there. Technically, the second line of any entry should be indented. So what I just did is I click there. I'll be out in a bit. That's my daughter. And then I click at the beginning of the line that I want to indent. I hit enter once, and then I hit the tab key, and that indents that. So now, because that way you can see where each entry starts. Frank, Global, Thomas. And when I cite things, I can just do it that way. So one slide was fine for my 3 sources. So now the overview. Let's do some bullet points. I like bullet points. Climate change covers not just climate change, not just global warming. Most scientists, let's just go with some facts. 97% of scientists agree problem is real and man-made. Anthropogenic, right? Isn't that the word we used? Global warming and climate change. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm not misquoting myself. Overwhelming scientific majority evidence. Let's see. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll do Command F or Control F. 97. At least 97% of actively published climate scientists around the world agree that human activities have contributed to rising global temperatures. Okay. That fact came from this source. And it's the first word or 2 of the entry is what you do. So to cite it, I say global. What else do we need to know? The small number. So it says not many people, right? Like most Americans agree the issue is real. That's also from Global. And if it turns out that all my facts in this beginning section come from Global, what I'll do is I'll actually just cut out all of the citations except for the last one. And we'll just assume that all those facts came from there. And that's legit. Vocal minority pays raise, I don't want to say a lot of money because that just sounds like, with mucho, no. Oh, it switched that right to much. With, let's say, a vocal, wealthy minority contribute to climate change denial. Deniers say it may be real, but not our fault. Okay, that's all from global. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that, Control X. I'm going to paste it in here. And then I'm going to cut this one. I'll replace it with a period. Not just global warming. And then let's, you know what, let's find a picture for that. I'm just going to Google global warming. And I'm going to drag this into a separate tab. I'm going to go to images. And I'm going to pillage the internet. That looks good. Creating images. Boom. Oops. And then I just like to make sure that things are centered. That seems actually pretty nice there. I also like things big. More pictures, less text. You're going to kind of talk your way through it. And that's something we can do there. If you want, you can add animation to this, but I'm not particularly good at that, so I'm not going to show you how to do it. But that would be like each time you click, a new bullet point comes up. If you want to do that, that's probably a great idea, but we're going to keep this very simple. Overview continued. Okay. I'm going to cut that slide because I think we got enough overview. It said 1 to 2 was required, right? 1 to 2 slides explaining the overall issue and debate. Okay. The problem, pathos. So now I got to come up with something kind of sad and scary. And let's go with Earth will survive, but we may not. And we're just going to go, let's find a good quote from Frank. Oh, life, everybody. Planet does not need our saving. The biosphere has endured. Bad word, we can't use that. What Earth's history does make clear, however, is that if we don't take the right kind of action soon, the biosphere will simply move on without us, creating new versions of itself in the changing climate we're generating now. So we must be honest. The problem is not saving the Earth or life writ large, but saving our cherished civilization. That I highlighted in green because it seemed like a big deal at the time. Ugh, now it's still highlighted in green. Let's get rid of that. Transparent. Okay. And then we're going to cite that. And we're going to put his full name in because I'm just going to do a little thing there. So what's his name? Adam Frank. And what is he? He is an astrophysicist. Did I spell that right? It's not a word I write that often. Okay. What Earth's history does make clear, however, is that if we don't take the right kind of action, soon the biosphere will simply move on without us. So, and then that makes me think of other things that got left behind. Let's find a picture of a dinosaur dying. Dinosaur extinction. Oh, maybe a meme. Memes are fun. This is the 21st century, right? Dinosaur coronavirus memes. That's kind of funny. That was a bad word. We're not going to look at that part. Well, okay. Let's not do a meme because I can't find one to fit my exact mood. That's good. Pillage, pillage, pillage. And you'll notice that I'm not putting pictures behind my text very often because they are hard to read. Now I'm going to cut the little bit that says pathos because writers and students and creators, they care about things like pathos, logos, and ethos. Audience members, they don't care about that stuff. They just want to know what you have to say. Okay. So let's put that in quotation marks to make that clear. And I'm going to take a break and come back in a little bit and finish this up. So we've got a start here, and we will finish the rest in a while. Okay, so I fast forwarded a little bit. I thought we were getting a little long. It was like 20 minutes. So I went and put in the rest of my stuff. And let's take a quick look at what we've got for this overall slideshow. So there's a title. Maybe I'll put in a picture or something like that because that's a little bit boring, but whatever. It's fine for now. We've got that. We've got the overview where I'm giving just some issues. Everybody thinks that it's real, but some people disagree. A very small minority, but they tend to have more money. Here's the problem. What Earth's history does make clear, however, is that if we don't take the right kind of action soon, the biosphere will simply move on without us, creating new versions of itself. So that idea that like, yeah, life will go on, it just won't be our lives. So that's my pathos, kind of like scary. Look at, oh, the dinosaur's dying. Everybody's scared of that. The problem, logos. I'm going to remove the logos part because, as I said, nobody cares about logos except for the people organizing it. It's just thinking the way you organize your stuff. Don't ever talk about your logos. Like, you'll just sound like a nerd. So here's where I started to add new stuff. And I added a little sign. Here's climate going one way and the USA going the other way because we left the Paris Agreement. So 5 mass extinctions so far. That comes from Frank. That like, in the history of the Earth, there have been 5 mass extinctions where like tons of things died out. Life always returns, but it's always new life, right? There were dinosaurs for a while, and then there weren't. There was other things. So some of the effects of global warming and climate change are increased droughts, wildfires, and hurricanes. For example, in the 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 seasons all brought powerful Category 5 hurricanes. That's actually a word-for-word quote, so let's put my quotation marks in there. Reduced air quality. That's all these facts come from global. Rising sea levels. In 2017, the U.S. withdrew from the Paris Agreement. So like just after we signed it, we're like, nah, never mind. We're going to take that citation out and put it at the end because all of that came from that one source. And those are all just facts and stuff that I can lay out. And then solution. Let's cut this logos because, again, that's the logos is to remind me, like, focus on facts here because we want to organize the way that we think when we're doing this. So I did a little thing about, here's the Paris Agreement. And the original template had the text over here as it is on all my other slides. But this little arrow was pointing, so I was like, I'll switch them around because I'm in charge, I can do that. Cap and trade, limit rise in global temp to less than 3.6 degrees. Green New Deal, focus on building eco-friendly zero emissions technology while rebuilding workforce. Everybody's always talking about like, we never build anything in America anymore, like the auto industry is gone and that kind of stuff. So this is a new way to like spark our economy while doing it in a way that doesn't kill the earth. And then eliminate fossil fuel subsidies. So stop giving perks to fossil fuel companies. One little thing. When you're resizing, do not grab by the sides because that's going to stretch your picture out, right? I'm going to Command Z to undo that. If you grab by the corner, it keeps the exact same shape, but just increases the overall size. There's a lot of things I hate more than seeing a picture that's obviously too stretched, but that's one of my pet peeves. While we're also talking about graphics, you notice this faded out fire. The way I did that is I took that picture and I right clicked on it and I said order and I sent it to the back, and then I did format options, and there's all this fun stuff here. And transparency is under adjustments, and if I do that, I can adjust my transparency. I want it just enough where I could tell what it kind of was, but not so it distracts from the text. You never want to have people like, what did that say? So be careful when putting anything in the background and make sure that it does not interfere with your reading. And then my last one is a very simple thing, solution. Let's get rid of the part that says pathos. And you can, if you want, like, what do we do? So the solution part, I put that in, like all these like overview, problem, solution. That's a little bit like, here's my school part, I've done the problem. I think it's good when you're organizing, but just like when you have the little logos thing and the pathos, once that's in there and you've got it all organized, you can swap those names out for things that are a little bit more useful to you. So what do we do? And I put animation in there. For me, I have to click this more button and then there's animate. And what I did is with here, it's fade in on click by paragraph. So it's object animations. And then what happens is each time I click, it'll be like, wow, oops, I did it too fast. But let's try that again. Oop. It was working before. Let's see, what have I done wrong? Let's delete these animations. Like I told you earlier in the video, I don't do this that often. So most of the time when I'm doing slideshows, I whip them out really fast to show to the class. So let's see. Okay, so I'm in my paragraph box. I say add animation. And I'm going to fade in on click by paragraph. Let's play it. That should work. I think I just messed it up when I was trying to show it to you. So there, the earth will carry on. Click. Will we? A little bit of extra drama. And as long as I don't mess with it again, I won't mess it up. And then the final part is the works cited page. And that's my slideshow. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but it should be super organized. That you're thinking about each kind of information together. You're keeping your pathos problem, logos problem, pathos solution, logos solution. And I do it like a pathos sandwich, right? I've got the emotional stuff at the beginning and the end, and I've got all the facts smushed in the middle. I think that's kind of an effective way to go. A little bit of an overview at the beginning, like, why are we even talking about this? Sometimes people jump right into what they're talking about and nobody has any context. So I think all that stuff's important. So the final video will show you how to record this and upload it as a video and how to kind of talk your way through it. So it'll focus on the tech, a little bit of how to make the recording, and then the performance, like how I would go through doing the performance myself. All right, great guys. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with.